So when the Foo Fighters kicked off with their debut record in 1995, some may have wondered, well, Pat Smear's in there, he was in Nirvana, well, why isn't Krist Novoselic in there? Surely he'd hire his old friend and bandmate to come be a part of his new band, right? But no, that wasn't the case. It was a mutual decision by Grohl and Novoselic to not do this, and in this video we're going to find out why. Grohl joined Nirvana, the band that was taking over the world, or was just about to, back in 1990. Really did help catapult the band with his powerhouse drumming. That combined with the awesome musicianship that was already there with Novoselic and Cobain, the trio just made one unstoppable group. The band rose to the dizzying heights of fame with their 1991 release Nevermind, followed that up in 93 with In Utero, both chart-topping successes, sold-out concerts, just one massive whirlwind of success. But sadly, in April of 1994, that all came to an end when frontman Kurt Cobain died, and Nirvana was no more. They couldn't continue, of course, without Cobain. He spearheaded all the songwriting. I don't need to tell you there was no replacing him. The band couldn't go on. So, Grohl, already an accomplished musician himself, of course, on the drums, but he was also a good singer and guitarist as well, and songwriter, and he put all of this into effect, releasing the debut Foo Fighters record in 1995, a record he played all the instruments on himself. Did that solo, a great effort. Great songs, really cool album, that first one. But if Grohl wanted to go and tour and play these songs live, of course he would need a band with him, right? So we got a band. William Goldsmith on drums, Nate Mendel on bass, and former Nirvana guitarist, he was only in the band for about 6 months, but Pat Smear. Kind of cool how he got his old Nirvana buddy and carried on there. But what about Krist? Wouldn't he come over too, join the Foo Fighters? Well, the answer to that is no, and here's why. Novoselic and Grohl had periodically kept in touch following the death of Cobain, and in this 1995 interview with Rolling Stone, Grohl said, "Krist and I kept in touch, and we would get together and talk, make sure we were each doing okay. Eventually, very slowly, things got back to a more normal pace. Everything changed, and it's going to take a long time to get used to that." Now, it was in that same interview where Grohl clarified that he was seriously considering bringing Novoselic into the Foo Fighters. However, they both opted against it due to the pressure it would have put on them. Grohl said, "We talked about it, and then it just didn't happen." It was even said that some fans would frown upon this because they would have seen it as just like a cash-in, trying to cash in on the recent success of Nirvana so quickly after Cobain's death. Remember, this was just like a year later. Would have fans seen it that way? Maybe, maybe not. For Krist and I, it would have felt natural and really great, Grohl continued. But for everyone else, it would have been weird, and it would have left me in a really bad position. Then I really would have been under the microscope. And if you can remember, some people were already poo-pooing on Dave's new attempt at starting up a band, thinking he was just trying to cash in on the whole Nirvana thing, starting up a new band so quickly after Cobain died. You gotta remember, that wasn't the case at all. Dave was a musician through and through, had been for years, and as he says in his own words, this is what he does, this is what he eats, sleeps, and breathes. He's never gonna stop it. And he actually did consider giving up the whole thing, giving it all away, stopping altogether after Cobain died, but no, he continued on, so I think that's a good thing. When the Foo Fighters got up and going and got quite successful, Krist was often asked in interviews, "What do you think of Foo Fighters? Are you jealous of them? Are you jealous of Dave?" That's what he was being asked. And Krist's response was, "I'm like, listen, man, he has stayed focused. He has worked hard. He rocks. The Foo Fighters rock. How do you be jealous of something like that? He's earned everything he has worked for." I think that's a good answer right there. But Krist just didn't pack up everything and leave music after Nirvana ended. No, he got into a band of his own, Sweet 75. Many would have heard of that. Krist played the guitar, the bass, and the accordion on their debut record they released in 1997, with the band eventually breaking up in 2000. But a really cool thing did happen for the Foo Fighters' 7th studio album. Krist Novoselic actually did join the band on their record, Wasting Light. with Krist playing bass and accordion on the track I Should Have Known. Some people even say this song was actually referencing Kurt Cobain in some way, but apparently the song is actually about someone else, one of Dave's best friends. But anyway, still very cool to see Krist Novoselic playing on that Foo Fighters record. Very awesome. And another reference with Novoselic and the Foo Fighters. He joined them live on stage in September of 2018 to play a song that Nirvana would often cover, and that was Molly's Lips, the track, of course, from their Incesticide record. So again, cool seeing Novoselic up on stage there with Foo Fighters, playing that old school Nirvana song. And so, as we've heard in this video, Grohl did consider bringing Novoselic into Foo Fighters in 1995 when the band was first starting out. He thought about it, it more than just crossed his mind, but in the end, they both talked about it and both decided mutually not to do it. So, what do you guys think? Would have you liked to have seen Novoselic in the Foo Fighters all the way back in 95 when they were starting out? Would it have been cool to see him on that debut record, The Color and the Shape, There Is Nothing Left to Lose, etc.? Would have the fans crapped on it? Kind of interesting to think about, right? Have your say in the comment section, guys. Thanks heaps for tuning in as always. Be sure to drop a like on the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and we will catch you next time.